Okay, so let's get started. All right, so but before we get started, I want to remind you to like the video, comment, subscribe, and so this one is about slang related to marijuana. I am not really up on marijuana culture anymore, but I think I have some basic things, that I remember. And there's going to be less slang related to it because it's been legalized. So there was a lot of slang surrounding marijuana because it was illegal, and that people that talked about it wanted to use kind of cryptic language, right? But this one is a kind of a fun one. And this one is the devil's lettuce. The devil's lettuce. Because uh, marijuana was originally kind of made illegal by like a conservative, like Christian moral a group, activism, right? And so the devil's lettuce was meant to make a joke about the fact that it was kind of associated with evil and they couldn't really say why they wanted it to be illegal, for medical reasons. Back before a lot of medical research was done on it, they couldn't really say. They just thought that it was kind of like not not something that they were doing in church, right? And it was people were doing wild things when they were smoking marijuana, so I guess they thought it was kind of like not a good thing. Even like the Christian church said that dancing was not good, right? So, I mean, of course they probably don't care about it now, but it's just anything that subtracts from the church, then they labeled that as evil, right? So the devil's lettuce, right? It's kind of a slang that two people that are smoking marijuana or talking about marijuana might use. And what are some other ones to refer to marijuana generally would be like, this is super old, Mary Jane, right? That's so old. There's a song, I should have found that song, but it's like something about, they refer to marijuana in songs a lot, right? Mary Jane, right? Weed, of course. Smoke, I can remember people saying, you got any smoke, right? And a joint, right, is a typical marijuana cigarette, or they used to say a hooter, burn a hooter, right? A hooter, a doobie, right? And these are old ones. They also used to say things like a dime bag, which would be a $10 bag of marijuana. That's back when $10 could actually buy you something. A dime bag, a nickel bag, right? I'm so far removed from this culture, I don't even remember. And probably the young people who smoke it would probably laugh at my words, right? But it's still in the language, right? The devil's lettuce, though, is still used, right? So anyway, let's talk about this. Let me see what I got here. Okay, the devil's lettuce. Okay, marijuana, right? And it's okay. So how to pronounce the devil's lettuce? I'm not going to get too much. Since I was partaking in the devil's lettuce, right? She's talking about partaking means to do it, to join it, right? To do it, partaking in, to use it, right? Partaking in some alcohol. I was partaking in the devil's lettuce, partaking in a meal. It could be, right? Okay. So the devil's lettuce, the old Mary Jane. Let's see.
Within the devil's lettuce, the old Mary Jane. But it is completely non-psycho.
Okay, so she's sort of making fun of it, right? making fun of the fact that it used to be considered really bad. I still don't. I still don't use it because it's just not for me. But you know, I guess suppose it's better to have it be legal.
If you love clicking cows, you'll love selling the devil's lettuce.
Okay.
Your son, he's smoking the devil's lettuce.
Okay, and it's just that jazz cabbage. I've never heard this. But it, all right, it's pretty funny. All right, the devil's lettuce. Okay, you get the idea. Okay, and okay, let's see. This is probably gonna. There was actually a movie called The Devil's Lettuce, but see how it is? It's like they associate the marijuana with evil and the devil. Actually, I know some very religious people who they're actually Muslims, and they will not drink alcohol, but they will use marijuana. So I would say that there's a lot of Christians that would be the opposite. That, like, say my dad would drink beer, and I drink beer, or I drink alcohol sometimes, but he would never dream of using marijuana because it's was extremely illegal, right? Okay, reefer madness. Reefer is another word for marijuana. So you see what I mean? They're trying. This is like reefer madness was made in like the 1920s, and it's really like ridiculous. Like it's showing that people once they take one hit, they just lose their mind and go crazy. You know, takes you through hell, right? I don't even know. I personally don't. I personally don't like it that much, but you know, I think it can actually cause some mental problems with people. It's stronger than people say. People kind of act like, oh, it's so mild and harmless and stuff like that. But I personally don't believe that. I think they're just trying to justify their use. But it's not my business, right? It's not my business. People can do what they want as long as they're not hurting me. Okay, so anyway, the devil's lettuce. Okay, so I will talk to you on the next idiom.